Chris Lyons. I run ClyonsCreations. I'm a technology, education, industrial arts teacher, as well as teaching wood turning classes on the side and making products with ClyonsCreations. Let's go check out my wood shop and I'll show you what I'm up to.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Will from Creations by Will, and I'm out here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, to meet with Chris Lyons from ClyonsCreations. So, can you tell us a little bit about your business and what you do?
Yeah, so I started the business part of it, I guess you could say, from so much time just kind of starting off making some things. I've been doing woodworking roughly since I was like 13, 14, 15. And I did it for a while, and I kind of took a little break because I didn't have a lot of time or access to machines. And so when I started to make stuff again, everyone was saying, well, I would buy some of that, or you should sell some of this. And so
it was kind of like the trickle effect.
it was definitely the trickle effect. So then I started to make more stuff, and the whole time it's always been about learning skills that I want to learn and learning how to do certain skills or machines better over time, and just acquiring different techniques and skills is what the business has been about for me. And then the name is just my first and last name kind of together, Chris Lyons, which actually started as a joke.
It's kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah, it was a joke at my first school that I worked at. When the kids found out what my name was, they started to call me Sea Lions.
That's funny.
And they thought it was hilarious, and they would walk down the hall and like make sea lion sounds. And
so you twisted it.
I twisted it a little bit, and I was like, "We'll just go with it." Yeah, it's pretty funny. So my coworkers figured it out, and they laugh at it too. So,
nice.
But that's how it started, and started off with like a lot of small, simple turnings, doing handles for stuff, doing charcuterie boards, cutting boards, little things like that. And the whole goal is everything that I make is something that someone will use. I don't like to make a lot of decorations. So my day job is teaching wood shop, industrial arts, technology education. There's a lot of different names for it these days. So I've always kind of felt like, well, if I don't have a solid grasp of how to do something, a lot of people just try to teach something maybe and they've seen it once or twice or only tried it once or twice. I want to make sure I'm good at it. So part of teaching is learning about all the problems that you're going to run into and the problems that everybody else is going to run into. So a lot of me doing this work has helped me to learn more just about woodworking in general, about setting up tools, about maintenance, so that when I get into my classroom, I'm able to kind of cut off some of the problems that we're going to run into. It makes it easier for me to describe, show, demonstrate, relate concepts that I'm going to teach, and gives me a broader experience to know, like, you could run into this, or this is another facet of that in a career that you could do when you get older. So a lot of it, it's learning for me so that I can use that in my teaching to give back to the kids.
That's cool. How did you get started doing woodworking originally?
I was originally introduced to woodworking through my grandfather. As I was growing up, he always had a wood shop, and he would be working in there. We'd see it when I'd go over to visit. And then when I was a teenager, I was kind of like, hey, I'd really like to try the wood turning. And so he taught me how to turn a bowl and a plate one time, and we made a couple other things. We actually made that workbench right over there when I was a kid. So, and I was also in 4-H.
Okay.
So when you're in 4-H, you sign up to take projects to the county fair or take animals, and I was always like, oh, I want to do the woodworking. That sounds fun.
Totally. Do the crafts and stuff.
Yeah. Right. And so like that workbench was one of my entries, I think, one time at the county fair, and couple other things, some bowls and some plates and some guitars over the years. So, but I always worked with my grandpa usually on making my projects for the fair, and that's kind of where I got my start. And then I got into high school, and I took as many of the shop classes and woodworking classes as I could. So so that was kind of how I started my woodworking. And then as I got older, I had my own space again finally for a shop, and I've worked in shops in schools, and so that's allowed me to have time and an opportunity to make stuff again. So I took kind of a short break, and I did a little bit of woodworking, but now I'm back into it. And so I've been back into it for a couple of years, pretty heavy. I started ClyonsCreations in 2015, I believe. Okay. And I did that so that I had a moniker to start doing market sales, farmers markets, and craft sales, things like that. So I had a moniker, and then from a business perspective, I was also making some things at the time that were going into department stores.
Cool.
So I wanted to make sure from the legality standpoint that I had like a business.
Yeah.
So the other part of having the Sea Lions brand is to just also start gaining a little bit of, so that people know I'm here.
Right.
And the goal is I'm going to change as I move forward into the future, into different ventures and products and things like that. So I'm just also kind of just raising the awareness that I have a brand right now, and I have some big plans for 2019,
Awesome.
where I'm kind of hoping that we're like, oh yeah, that guy who was selling these, well, he does this now. So I like it to be, it's not pinned down to what it has to be. It can be anything I want to do.
So you started out, you do a lot of craft items, a lot of different one-off designs, but you want to move into a more focused-based business, focusing on one product line.
That's the goal. The plan is to do guitars.
Awesome.
Has kind of always been the driving factor. First guitar I ever made, so that's when I started making guitars, and I'm over a dozen now into it. So I've got a lot to learn, but I've made some, so it's a good start, and that's where I want to move to.
Very cool.
And I think it'd be fun to move into the area, not just selling finished guitars, but also selling the wood that other luthiers are using to make their guitars.
Very cool. Very cool.
So
you have a guitar blank over here that you started.
I do.
Can you show us?
So this is Buckeye Burl, and it's stabilized and
Looks
dyed.
like you dyed it too, yeah.
Yep, yeah, we
Some
dyed it.
colors in there. Really
And then
nice.
we poured some resin, and then so if we want a little preview, we can give it a mineral spirits spritz, and you can kind of see that
Really
grains
pops out.
start to pop. Yeah,
Awesome.
it looks really cool. And
It's really wild.
yeah, so this is also my first one that I've used the CNC machine on,
Okay.
which is a lot of fun for me because I've been learning how to do that. So that I
CNC is a whole other beast.
It is a whole nother beast. But for what I teach, it's a huge step forward in where we're going as a country for the manufacturing side of things.
Definitely a huge step forward.
Yeah. And so one thing that you hear about when I talk to a lot of people and they ask what I do for a job, I hear a lot about how baby boomers are retiring,
Mm-hmm.
and there's going to be a skills gap. Well, the skills gap's already there.
Oh yeah, it's been there.
Right. And with all the baby boomers going to retire, it's going to get even worse. So a lot of things I keep hearing is we don't have skilled workers, So I know that CNC is going to be an important
CNC,
part of that.
automation is going to be replacing people.
Yep. Knowing how to code things, understanding computer language, understanding how to manufacture something, and understanding how to 3D model that so that those things can get done. So I'm learning a lot. I'm getting to do what I want to do, but I'm also learning new skills along the way, which is a large part of the whole point of doing a lot of this too. Yeah, hoping to make a lot more of these. So this is going to be a fan fret or a multi-scale 7-string guitar.
Nice.
So
Very
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
working with clients is a whole different beast than what I was originally expecting. I had a lot of friends who did some design work, and so I would hear about issues that would come up with working with clients, and then once I got into it, I started experiencing that as well. Understanding how to batch work so that you can do it more efficiently as
scale
opposed
production.
as opposed to like, oh, I'm just going to do this one-off thing and have it take longer. That's been a big issue, running into machine and tool setup and just planning in general. How do I want to go about this to make it the easiest for me to finish and have a high success rate that leaves a really nice finished product?
Being a small business, what are some areas that you need help in, technology-wise? Do you sell online?
I have sold online.
Okay.
Yeah. I am going to try to get into it more. I haven't done very much of it. I've sold a little bit online. It's part of the process I don't like. I shouldn't say I don't like it, but it's not when I like to make the stuff. It's not as fun to sit on my computer and put it on this site and then wait for somebody to buy it and then put it in the box and go to the post office.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's kind of fun, but after a while, I would rather just be making stuff all the time, and that's why I like the sales. I can bring everything to a sale, hopefully sell some of
Go
it.
to a market or a show.
Exactly. So those are nice for that. I'll do more online selling in the future and less shows. If I could use some help, I could use help finishing and sanding things, just
Right.
getting things ready, like taking things out of packages, like little odds and ends and hardware. Stuff like that would be super helpful.
You really like to present your products in public and actually show it to people in real time.
Yeah, I like doing that because you get authentic feedback from the public. So for example, if I'm going to sell a bottle opener or a tap handle, somebody can look at it online and say, oh yeah, it looks really pretty. I would love to put that on my tapper. And it would be really cool. That would look great on my kitchen counter.
But
and then they get it and they're surprised. Well, it doesn't look just like it did in the picture, or that you build up this false thing in your brain. It's going to be like this, it's not going to be like that. But when you have a show, they can literally walk up to your table. And this is my favorite thing to watch, is not say anything to anybody, not talk to them, just wait. And they pick something up and they do this. And they practice with it. And you can
check out every angle, every little feature in it.
And just looking at somebody's face while they do that, you can see what they're thinking. You can see if they like it, what they do or what they don't like about it. I get instant feedback on that shape for a handle really worked well, or everybody picked that one up and put it right back down. I've had other ones, a couple bottle openers, where everybody picks it up and then they hold it and they hold onto it for a second and they just feel it, and then they turn and they look at you and they go, this is really nice.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, thank you. Even if they don't buy it, that's fine. But the fact that they came up and they held it and they told me, I really like this. It's good for me as a maker, designer, whatever you want to call me.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it feels good too to actually like get complimented on your work there in public.
Yeah.
Do you ever have any issues where people are rude at your booth in public?
I guess that would depend on your definition of rude.
Yeah.
I haven't really run into it. Every once in a while, somebody say, all your stuff is too overpriced, or maybe they'll say it's underpriced. It depends where you are. Yeah, luckily I haven't had anybody be too rude yet.
Awesome.
Yeah. Or you hear that comment, or you see it online of, well, if I had this, I could do that, or if I had that tool, I could do that too. Like, okay, but would you?
Right.
Or like, oh yeah, well, if I wanted to, I could turn this too. It's like, okay, but are you?
Go do it.
And
let's see it.
Yeah, and that's the difference when people say, I'm like, well, that's the difference between you and me is I'm doing it, you're not.
Exactly.
And you could do it, and that's fine. But there's no reason to, like, nobody's ever knocked me down for it. But when you see it online, it's like, don't knock somebody down for it.
Exactly.
They're doing it.
You should be, encouraging people to do their crafts and compliment the work that they're trying to do. A lot of people, they work really hard to make these items, and we get it that you guys don't like it, or you think you can make it better. Go make it better. It's fine. But
go for it. If you can do it, just do it.
Yeah.
Then go for it. Don't tell everybody about how you're gonna do it.
Us small artisans, we're just doing what we love, and we're getting it out there, and we're showing it, and respect that, please. It'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? Being an artisan is. I feel like a lot of people think they can put themselves in those shoes.
It's not easy.
But you can't. Yeah. But you really can't until
you
try it.
Yeah.
You don't know. Like I would not be able to put myself in, like a graphic designer.
Right.
I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I can look at something and tell you whether or not I think it looks good. I think it looks bad. That's my opinion. But I can't put myself in their shoes and understand what goes into making it, creating it, coming up with the ideas. Yeah.
It's the same thing too. Like I think when like a lot of people see these handles and they're like, oh, this is such a simple little shape, little piece of wood. Like how can you charge this much money for it? But in all reality, like there's a lot of steps that go into making that.
You have to acquire the material.
Mm-hmm.
You have to acquire the tools to do it. Then you have to acquire the skills to do it, which usually
takes years and years and years.
Yeah, it takes a lot of failure.
You just pick right up.
It takes tons of failure. So you have to do that, and then you have to learn, okay, how do I finish it off? And then how do I actually figure out how to get it to somewhere where I'm going to put it in somebody else's hands to try it or to buy it, and it's a lot.
And then you also have all the stages of finding places to sell and getting legalized, starting a business, learning the whole business side of the world. It's a whole nother aspect.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It is so much work when you start out. Just figuring out where you could sell. Some people get really into the image of a brand. Do you want to start a brand, or are you just kind of there selling some things for fun? There's so many different ways to approach it, perspectives. You can't just jump straight to the top. I think that's a thing in the world of the internet and today
Mm-hmm.
that, oh, I'm doing this thing, I'm really good now, all of a sudden I should be way up here. Yeah, and you can look at something online and you can, and I'm not knocking anybody
Mm-hmm.
that does this, but you can watch somebody make something on Instagram or a Facebook viral video or YouTube, and that's really cool. That's totally different than like what you or I are doing,
Exactly.
where we're making multiple things or
And scaling the production of it too.
Yeah.
It's really tough to keep that up.
yeah. The other thing you can't show on a video is attention to detail
Mm-hmm.
and overall quality.
Absolutely.
And those are things that you have to be able to see, hold,
feel.
touch
Mm-hmm.
before you really understand. The mission behind ClyonsCreations is all about furthering myself as a craftsman. The educating part has always kind of been the underlying back idea behind it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
It's really important to pass down this knowledge too.
yeah, it really is. Really is. The most important thing I feel these days, with passing down the knowledge, is the medium
Yeah.
of passing down that knowledge. So I'm building my skills so that I can teach guitars, because I feel like guitars are an awesome medium
Mm-hmm.
for teaching kids.
And why is that?
There are so many skills involved in making a guitar. Not only there's design, there's science, there's math in it. There's how to use tools. There's putting it together. There's troubleshooting. The big thing is there are always going to be problems.
Yeah.
It could be a tool. It could be a process you're trying to do. It could be a cut, a design, but there's always going to be a problem, and there's going to be several problems throughout the whole thing.
And they're gonna have to, elaborate on that problem and figure out ways around it.
Yeah, troubleshooting, problem-solving skills are huge. Hear from a lot of employers that's what they want. They want employees that know how to troubleshoot and how to problem solve on their own without
And
constantly
work through it.
asking questions. Yeah, and there's a huge lack of mechanical skills. Is mostly what we hear about when we
Mhm.
talk to committees who are out in the field working with what it is that we're teaching. So the guitar is a perfect medium where I can be teaching basics of mechanical skills to kids, but they're super interested in it
Mhm.
because they want the guitar to turn
And they
out
want
nice.
to play it and they want to make music.
Yeah, they want to play it. They want to show it to their friends. I'm always telling them, you want to be really proud of it. But at the same time, like, I'm also teaching them that there's a lot of thought that goes into this. There's thought that goes into it about the order of processes. There's thought that goes into it about the design. So when you're done, it feels comfortable,
and works,
plays well.
is ergonomic.
Yep,
Yeah.
ergonomic.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a lot of science involved in how certain parts work. Like, why are pickups? Why do they have magnets in them?
Right.
You know, why are the strings? Why are some strings made of metal? Why are some strings made of nylon? So there's all that science that goes into it as well, which it's fun. So it's fun to get kids
Awesome.
excited about the academic side of it as well. And I don't think they always are at first,
Mm-hmm.
and then once they're done, after a while, they're like, yeah.
Once they figure out why and how it's actually making what it's doing,
Yeah,
it gets really interesting.
yeah.
And I think that's a big thing too, is to be exposed to this type of stuff at a young age, even if it's just a little bit of lessons here and there, or if you're just making whatever you want. I think exposing kids at a young age to woodworking is very important.
It is very important.
You were exposed at a young age from your grandpa,
Yeah.
right? He was a woodworker, and then growing up, you progressed out of it and then went back into it.
Yeah.
I was the same way. I learned how to do my woodworking when I was a kid, and I had no, clue that I would ever be a woodworker, right?
Yeah.
I just picked up some things when I was younger from a neighbor and let go of it, and then it came back in my later life, and now this
Yeah.
is what I do full time. So
Oh, it's good to come back to it.
definitely, really
Yeah.
good.
All those years that you don't do it, you're always thinking about it. Like, maybe one day I'll get back to it.
And then you're one of those people too at the markets. It's
Yeah.
like, I could probably make that, but I'm not a woodworker. But I was exposed at a young age, like
Yeah.
you probably can. I think that's a lot of those people are probably like that too.
Yeah. It's funny to think back when you go to those markets and you're not woodworking. Like, I could do that. And those are
Mhm.
like little things of inspiration, which I guess is something I've never thought of at markets. When other
Yeah.
people look at our stuff, they might think, maybe I should do that. So
Exactly.
hopefully we're inspiring it at the same point. So
and I think that's what's important too, is that all of us woodworkers, instead of just
definitely
talking crap about each other's work and competing with each other, hating each other because we make the same things. I mean, Chris also makes shave sets, but we're friends.
I think that's how we met on Instagram,
right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's important that all of us woodworkers actually band together and support each other's work as well. Because this social media hatred between craftsmen and artisans,
there is sometimes.
It's kind of ridiculous, yeah.
I do feel like there's overwhelmingly large amount of positivity and support for one another, though. Too.
There is, yeah.
You do see a lot of people who are real friendly, and I mean, you and I could have hated each other big time right away.
Totally.
We both have creations, and we both make the razor handles. I think that was how I found you. Yeah. It was like, oh man, we're very similar. It was fun, and you were way ahead of me too. So I learned a lot just from looking at your stuff.
Thanks, man. Awesome.
So, but it's very important to support people and to show people, especially kids.
Definitely.
So going into the industrial arts, the tech ed field, there's been a lot of years where a lot of programs have been cut in a lot of different schools, and I hear that from people a lot. When I go out and I meet people and I tell them what I do. Oh, they're cutting shop classes, and some schools have, and it was a cost thing, but a lot of schools still have it, and a lot of schools are reinvesting and starting programs again, which is super important for kids because we're reaching that skills gap. And
absolutely. There's
such a huge expectation nowadays that all kids go to college, which is good, but it's not what everyone needs, and it's not good for the future of the world, because not all college programs are going to teach mechanical knowledge that you're only going to gain from like
actually going to work.
Exactly, like getting in, like taking an engine apart and getting greasy and trying welding and failing at it a couple hundred times before you get good at it, and cutting wood and realizing this is safe, this is unsafe. Measurement skills are huge. Kids, please read a tape measure. Oh my God. Definitely. Parents, please teach your kids how to read a tape measure, because it's
and metric
super important. Yeah, super important. So just gaining mechanical skills and getting kids excited and letting them know that it's okay. I feel like manufacturing in general, some woodworking, some metal stuff, some of it gets a bad rap, like it's a dirty job, but it's not.
It's not always dirty. I mean,
no.
Some jobs are dirty.
Some jobs are dirty, but for the most part, like a lot of manufacturing nowadays is very clean.
Very.
So.
And a lot of manufacturing facilities, they have to keep this high standard of cleanliness because of the products that they're making as well.
Yeah.
So.
And
very
it's
important.
You have to be clean and organized to be productive.
Exactly.
So, encourage discovery and
definitely
and play. Just if your kid is interested in woodworking, buy a scroll saw. Get scrap wood from somewhere, some thin wood. Just let them start cutting.
There's a lot of cabinet shops, so you can just go to and say, "Hey, do you guys have any scraps you're throwing away?" And you get a lot of free wood that way. So
yeah,
definitely.
People using pallets. A lot of people have gotten into woodworking that way, and so there's a lot of people that hate on the pallet world. Maybe I've been in that in the past, but it's a good thing.
Definitely.
You're not gonna find me pulling pallets apart.
It's not very
It's
fun.
it's not rewarding for me.
No.
Some other people it probably is.
I think when I first started my business, I built a couple pieces of pallet furniture.
Yeah.
And I was done after that.
That's a great way to learn. You learned that you don't want to work with pallets anymore, right?
Exactly. And I would never have learned that unless I tried. So
exactly.
Go try something.
You got to try. You might be successful, you might fail. And if you fail, you've learned something. Yeah. The other thing that's really nice about just woodworking as a trade in general and a skill is it's easy and it's forgiving to get into.
Totally.
I think that's really important for kids. You don't have to be a master cabinet maker or a carver or something like that to get started. But the nice thing is wood is inexpensive. You can get it for free.
Yeah, pretty much anywhere you go, you can find free wood.
Yeah.
Totally.
If you just Craigslist. You can get a bunch of free if you want to take that route. You don't have to. Stumps on the side of the road, but it's easy and it's forgiving. So you can give it to a kid and they can play with it and learn how does it act, how does it react. They learn so much just by just trying it and playing with it. And yeah, it's not going to turn out good.
Or maybe it
the
will.
first time, or maybe it will if you're a lucky one.
Right.
None of my first stuff was very good.
Totally.
Some of it was all right, but you also learn persistence. You learn a drive. You understand that okay, if I want a skill that I'm going to be good at, it takes time. So it's really good for teaching that. And I think in today's world, so many people are so used to
instant gratification.
Yes,
big time.
that's exactly what it is. And so it's another great medium to teaching, not just kids, I guess anybody of any age. If you want to be good at something, it takes time and practice to get there.
It also teaches patience.
Oh yeah, patience big time. I have bad patience, and woodworking for the last few years has helped me big time with my patience skills. We'll call it a patience skill.
And it could also be very therapeutic as well. You know, when I've taught a few lessons myself, and I've seen when people start making something, you know, they've had no experience whatsoever, and they go through making it, and then once they finish making something, and they're just like, I can't believe I just made this.
Yes.
You just see this like spark light up in their eyes, and it's just very therapeutic.
that is
Definitely.
why people who teach.
Absolutely.
If you're teaching and you're not striving for that moment, then you're in the wrong business, because that's why teachers teach.
Exactly.
Is to show how to do it and to wait for that moment. And I've experienced that a lot already, and that's why I keep doing it. It's why I'm teaching every day. That's why I teach the wood turning classes. And wood turning is nice because it's about as close to instant gratification in woodworking as you can get.
Yeah, you could throw something on the lathe, carve it real fast, polish it up, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, and they're quick. But I think that's another reason why a lot of people like wood turning too, though, is you can go out to your garage or your basement and turn wood for hour, 2, 3, 4, and walk out with something that's close to done or done, as opposed to, well, I'm going to build a chair. I guess I'm going to be working on this for 3 or 4 weeks.
Which
is fine.
Couple days, couple weeks.
Yeah.
A lot of time for glue to set up.
Yeah.
Definitely. Turning's cool. Turning's really cool.
The wood lathe is fun.
So, would you say that the lathe is your favorite tool in the shop then?
Ooh, that's tough. I feel like my favorite tool changes a lot. It's a really good medium for me to learn how to use different tools.
Okay.
And I think that's why I've liked doing it so much.
Cool.
And you sometimes know and you sometimes don't know what something's going to look like when you turn it.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you're doing these hybrid blanks as well that you do.
Oh man, yeah, the hybrid blanks. That's
you
why
never know.
Yeah, I think that's why I like the hybrid blanks so much. Is if I turn a piece of walnut, I know it's going to look like a piece of walnut when I'm done.
Exactly.
It'll still look great, but the hybrid blanks are anybody's guess.
Yeah.
Anybody's guess. It's gonna be cool. Yeah, like this one again. This handle, like this one was pretty cool. I think I made this
really
one. I don't know if I'm allowed to say Prince or not, but I made this one not long after Prince passed away, and the purple and white and yet in clear turned out pretty cool. But had no idea what it was going to turn out like until I turned it down.
So you do all your own stabilization. You do all of your own hybrid casting. How did you get started doing that?
Yeah, that's a fun story. To make it short, I was helping my parents one time. I went back home. I took some brush to the local, grounds, the dumping pile. You just take all that, and right at the front pile was a huge burl. It was probably about 3.5, 4 feet tall. It was about as big as me, bigger than I was, and so we pulled it out, and I took it home, and we just started cutting it up with the chainsaw. We figured out that it was a piece of box elder. It was this amazing looking burl. It looked like marble. And at that point, I was still learning a lot. I had some woodworking experience, but nothing really from raw wood like that. And so I learned a lot more about turning, and I started doing some green turning. And then from there, I started to learn, well, I have all these really cool spots with the live edge. I want to use that. And I started getting into the casting. I started seeing the colors and figuring out, okay, this is how you pour. And then I had a bunch of pieces with rot holes and wormholes. I said, well, they're too beautiful. I don't want to throw them away. How can I use those? And, oh, casting. Oh, and you can also stabilize them. So then I
Yeah.
started stabilizing, figure out how can I make all this stuff look even cooler, and
So,
use my ginormous amount of
tons
scraps.
and tons of trial and error is how we get to where we are today. Definitely.
So, yeah, I'm looking to keep doing the stabilizing and the casting. I'm going to be starting a new moniker very soon called Infinity Wood Blanks.
Nice.
And I'll be doing some casting and some stabilizing. I'll sell some of those blanks. And I'm also going to get into, I guess I can say, guitar specialty pieces as well.
Very cool.
Within that same moniker. And I'm going to keep moving forward with that. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to make something and then see what somebody else makes out of
it,
something that you made. So it's
Very cool.
another different type of satisfaction, I guess. Through all the different experimenting with techniques and processes that I've been doing with the ClyonsCreations, I'm now to a point where I want to try something different that could be under that same idea, but it is so different that maybe it's time to change, I guess. So like a pen, like the pen blanks, you know,
the hybrids.
Yeah, with the hybrids and things like that. They're just a lot different, but it does kind of show how I grew and how things changed throughout just the couple of years that I've been doing it. Just now it's a different focus. Or
so when you take something and you go through all the trials and all the trial and error of developing these certain products, you learn different skills and you figure out how to perfect them, and then now you're going to share them with the world. Yeah,
that's the goal. Is hopefully I'll be sharing them. Maybe it's through whatever I've turned. Hopefully other people want to buy. There's a lot of people are really liking how they look. They can look really cool and making lots of things. A lot of people make rings out of them.
Definitely.
The list goes on and on and on. So yeah. The new business is going to be, it's called Infinity Wood Blanks, and that'll be hybrid wood blanks for making a number of different items. So resin and wood, some just wood, and a lot of colors is what it's going to be. Very colorful. So.
A lot of colors and also a lot of different materials as well mixed in the resin. We have some blanks over here. Let's check them out. This is really cool.
I've got one here. This is that same box elder burl that kind of got me into the casting and stabilizing, and I've got some shredded money in there.
That's awesome, man.
That I've put in.
That's really cool.
And kind of a totally different look. You see a lot of people who do like the colored pencils as well.
I think you've actually got a colored pencil.
I do. I've got one colored pencil blank over there, and we can show it off.
That's wild, man.
So this is just one example. I've got some where I've used just the tips of the colored pencils. They're all sharpened, and they're just kind of lying in a pile within the resin. Looked very, very cool. Some of my close friends have those ones. I got to get them to people close to me, close to home. Yeah, yep, just the tips, just the tips. I've got another one. I'll start over again. I've got some more here too. These have a little surprise inside that you can't see. It's kind of a new experiment. We can spray it down. You can see there's
That's awesome.
I don't know how many sides. I think it might be a 20 or 30 side die in there, but
that's really
mixed
cool.
in with the.
So for those Dungeons and Dragons fans.
Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons or any other type of game, I guess, that involves multiple sided dice that aren't just 6-sided. So. Yeah, so a lot of fun, a lot of creativity.
A lot of really unique blanks that you don't see on the market. There's a lot of other people that make hybrid blanks out there, but Chris is making the ultra unique ones.
Trying to put a little bit of a little spin, a little twist on it, so make it more fun. So I've got a lot of other ideas, and it'll be fun to be creative with it and put it out there. And I never would have thought about it or gotten to that point if I hadn't done all the experimenting in the ClyonsCreations aspect. So it's helped me to learn and grow quite a bit. So
awesome. And that's all you can do is just learn from your mistakes and your trials and tribulations, and just build up from there. That's all you can do. Just keep going.
A good friend of mine from college who is also went into teaching, he gave me a term years ago, failing forward.
Yeah.
And I think of that all the time, and I try to use that in school.
Reminds me of like Casey Neistat too. That one video, do what you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just
Yeah.
do your thing. Try it out. And who cares what other people say?
Yeah.
keep
Don't
doing
worry
it.
about what other people say. If you're an artisan or an artist, not caring what other people think is very important, because there'll be a point where you create something that nobody liked before, but all of a sudden one day everyone will like it.
Definitely. So Chris, you also have a YouTube channel, don't you?
I do have a YouTube channel.
Awesome. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. The YouTube channel has been a little, it's been on pause. I've been on, I guess you could almost say kind of a hiatus. I'm finishing up my master's degree, so that was a focus for a while. But now I'm getting back into it here in the fall of 2018.
Awesome.
So I've done some vlogs. I'll probably be getting back into the vlogs. I've got some exciting things that I've been working on. My dad has been putting together an antique sawmill,
Nice.
circular
Very
sawmill.
cool.
It's very close to being finished, so we're hopefully going to wrap that up, and then we'll just be milling lumber for fun. It's not going to be like a business or anything. We're just going to do it to learn and have a good time doing it and using old machinery. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'll probably be vlogging that quite a bit.
That'll be really cool to see how that's set up.
Yeah.
Also.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. So I'm going to be doing a new series, I guess, that I'm going to call Creation Corner.
Sweet.
Where I'm just making different things. It'll probably be a time-lapse video. And then another goal is to also get to creating videos for other industrial arts teachers.
Nice.
So
to discuss like how to teach kids different subjects and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Cool.
So I want to put together a package for other tech ed teachers where it could be a project, for example. So project-based learning is really big in education right now, where kids are working on a hands-on project, hopefully, and learning through that, and tech ed works really well for that. So my goal is to make a video that shows the student steps and what they need to do, and I'll narrate it and talk about the steps. Then there'll also be a separate video for the teachers as well, where I talk more about what are the objectives of the lessons, what are some common issues that might come up that you want to keep an eye on
A little more
students
behind
for.
the scenes kind of thing.
Exactly, and
Very
I'll
cool.
talk about some machine maintenance setup, jigs, if it's for a woodshop project. So more the teacher-oriented thought that goes into a project, along with other supporting videos that help the kids, and then also introduce the project and get them excited off the get-go.
Very cool. So if you want to check out Chris's YouTube channel, I'll put up a link. Where is it? Up there?
We could go up here.
over here?
It could be down here.
there?
Maybe
I don't know.
below.
There will be one in the description, and there should be one popping up on the screen somewhere right now. How can people find you?
Yeah, I have a full website. It's my own. It's ClyonsCreations.com. Lions with a Y. You can hopefully see it up there. So on my website, I've got lists for my different social media accounts. So I've got a Facebook and an Instagram as well. I think I have a Twitter, but I'm not tweeting very much on it. I'm just not.
Tweeting?
I'm not very good on that one.
Right.
Tweeting.
I think it's tweeting, yeah.
Is it tweeting?
Yeah.
That shows how good I am at it. On my website, I've also got lists of markets that I'm selling at. I usually sell about 1 or 2 craft markets a month. And as the holidays come up, I have some other sales. And I'm usually around Minneapolis, St. Paul metro area.
Cool.
Sometimes I'll go over to western Wisconsin. And I also have my wood turning classes listed on the front page of my website. So there's also a link on there to my Etsy store or any other online spots where I might sell something as well. And I'll just be posting everything on there in the future. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And down in the description of this video, I will include all the links to where you can find everything that we just discussed. And yeah, please subscribe, like the video, and share this with others. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks for watching.
See ya.
Saved a couple logs in case you wanted any chainsaw. Looking disappointed at how much of a mess this is.